Some dogs seem to know you're leaving before you actually leave. You haven't opened the door. You may not even have your keys yet. But your dog lifts their head, gets off the couch, steps into the hallway, and waits near the door like they already saw it coming. A lot of owners read that moment in a big way. They think, my dog just knows. Or they think, my dog is already getting upset. But in a lot of homes, the simpler answer is the better one. Your dog may not be reacting to the door itself. Your dog may be reacting to the routine that usually ends at the door. And that changes how this behavior reads. In this video, we're going to look at what your dog may be picking up before you leave, what people often get wrong about this moment, and what to watch next time if you want to understand it more clearly.
Hidden dog signals. Understand your dog better.
This is one of those behaviors that gets your attention fast because it feels so specific. You're still doing normal things around the house. Maybe you close your laptop. Maybe you leave the bathroom. Maybe you change into outside shoes. Maybe you pick up your bag from the same chair. Maybe you stop wandering around and start moving like you're headed somewhere. Then your dog changes too. They stop resting. They look up. They get off the rug. They leave the bed. They follow you into the hallway. Then they wait near the exit. That is the part people remember, because it feels early. It feels like your dog noticed the departure before the departure actually happened. And to be fair, they probably did notice something. The question is not whether the behavior means something. The question is what it means. This is where owners often go too far, too fast. They see the dog waiting by the door and turn that into a full explanation. My dog is clingy. My dog hates when I leave. My dog is trying to come with me. My dog somehow always knows exactly when I'm going out. And honestly, that reaction makes sense. The behavior does look meaningful. Your dog gets up early. Your dog moves into place. Your dog watches closely. It feels loaded because it is not random. But here's the correction. Just because a behavior is intentional does not mean it is distressed. And just because it stands out does not mean it tells the whole story by itself. A lot of people treat the door moment like the main event. But for many dogs, the door moment is just the last part you notice. The real signal may have started earlier. Here's the strongest way to read it. In many homes, a dog waits by the door before you leave because the dog has learned your leaving routine. Not your thoughts, not some hidden sense, your routine. The shoes you usually wear outside, the sound of keys, the bag coming off the hook, the bedroom light switching off, the quick trip back for your phone, the change in your pace once you are really about to go. Dogs get familiar with patterns that repeat. So when the same chain starts again, many dogs begin reacting before the final step. That is why this behavior can seem almost weirdly precise. But what looks mysterious is often pattern reading. Your dog is not always reacting to one thing. Your dog may be putting the whole sequence together. You sit forward, you stand up, you grab the bag, you head toward the hallway. Your dog lifts their head, steps off the couch, turns the corner, sits near the door. That is not random. It is often a dog reading a routine they know well, and that is the core interpretation to hold on to. Now here is where context matters, because a dog waiting by the door can still look different depending on the rest of the pattern. If your dog notices the routine, moves toward the door, watches you leave, then settles down not long after, that often fits simple routine tracking. Your dog saw the sequence start, followed it, then moved on. But sometimes the routine does not stay that calm. If your dog starts tracking you earlier, follows every move, looks tighter in the body, pants, paces, whines, or stays worked up after you leave, then the door waiting may be part of a bigger departure-related stress pattern. That does not mean something is automatically wrong. It means the door is not the only thing to look at. That is the difference. One dog reads the routine, then settles. Another dog reads the routine, then keeps building. From the outside, both dogs may go to the door. What happens around that moment is what helps you read it better. The easiest way to read this better is to watch it in 3 steps. First, watch for the earliest cue. What happens right before your dog changes? Is it the shoes, the keys, your bag, the bathroom trip, the laptop closing? The moment your movement gets more direct, that tells you what part of the routine your dog may be reading first. Second, watch the body. When your dog moves toward the door, do they still look loose and normal? Maybe they just get up, walk over, sit down, and wait. Or do they start looking more tense? That is where the body gives you more information than the location. Third, watch recovery. Once you leave, does your dog settle fairly quickly? Do they go back to the couch, the bed, or a window spot and relax? Or do they stay locked onto the exit area? That last part matters more than a lot of owners realize, because the clearest clue is often not that your dog went to the door. It is whether your dog can come down after the door. That gives you a much better read than trying to decode the whole behavior from one moment alone. So what is the better response? Usually it is to stay calm and read the pattern before you try to change the pattern. Not turning the goodbye into a big emotional event, not acting guilty, not assuming the behavior is automatically a problem just because your dog noticed you were leaving. Start with observation. Notice the first cue your dog responds to. Notice whether the body stays loose or starts getting tight. Notice whether your dog settles once you are gone. That alone can clean up a lot of confusion. Because when you stop treating this like a mystery and start treating it like a routine your dog has learned, the behavior often becomes easier to understand. And that changes your response too. Instead of asking, "How do I stop my dog from doing this?" you start asking, "What is my dog picking up before I leave?" That is a calmer question, and it usually gets you closer to the real answer. If the pattern stays mild and your dog settles well, this may simply be a familiar part of how your dog tracks your routine. If the pattern keeps building into visible distress, then the goal is still not to overread one moment. The goal is to recognize that the door behavior may be one part of a larger pattern worth paying attention to. So why does your dog wait by the door before you leave? In many cases, the strongest answer is this. Your dog may be reading your departure routine before the departure actually happens. That is why it can seem early. That is why it can seem accurate. And that is why it often feels like your dog knew before you did. But a lot of the time, your dog is not reacting to the future. Your dog is reacting to the sequence. The shoes, the keys, the bag, the hallway, the shift in your movement, the same pattern they have seen before. So next time your dog gets up early and waits by the door, don't just focus on the door. Ask yourself what part of the routine your dog noticed first. That one shift can help you read the behavior more clearly, respond more calmly, and understand your dog a little better. What's the first thing your dog seems to notice when you're about to leave the house?
Hidden dog signals. Understand your dog better.